What's up, web crew?
Welcome back to our channel, guys.
We are being a bit quiet because Jade's asleep right above us.
Yeah, so like promised, or I guess not promised, but like mentioned before, this video is just gonna go a little bit in depth of how we budget. We still do most of this, but it just has gotten a little bit more in depth. It's gotten a little bit more in depth now that we have another property, but we will go ahead and start off by showing you guys some budgeting forms that we use. We'll pull it up on the computer and we'll bring you guys along.
So stay tuned for budgeting Brenton and Itzel 2015.
We on?
We are on, baby.
All right, guys, so we thought it'd be fun to bring you guys on via Zoom so you guys could see our computer screen. So what we pulled up was this form that Brenton found, and we printed out, how many, 12 of these?
One for every month of the year?
Yeah, and so this is when we were both working. We brought this up and we would go through this, and every time I got paid or Brenton got paid, we would go through, enter the pay date, and then divide our wages that way.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, like Itzel just mentioned, obviously we were getting paid on different weeks. So here with the income is one of the options that you have. All of your income from your main jobs or any side hustles, you'll put here. And then, savings, pay yourself first. What we always tried to do was pay 10% to ourselves. And then, you start going through things or expenditures that you'll have on a monthly basis. You can see some of the different options there. And then food and entertainment, obviously groceries being the biggest one, and then restaurants, just because a lot of people do spend money on eating out.
And it's fine as long as you budget in. And sorry, I wanted to go back to home. There are empty ones right here, and we would always add. I know here in Utah we pay AF City, for example. We have to pay HOAs, and we would just use these boxes for those things. And then we'd also separate out the utilities, which is like the HOA,
Dominion Energy,
and
Rocky
gas.
Mountain Power.
So,
and then essentially, just scrolling down from there, you have options for everything from transportation all the way to health to family expenses and then other expenses. This is one that, we thought of anything that we could potentially spend on a monthly basis or things that we weren't thinking about budgeting for that we would put here. So like people's birthdays come up. We always wanted to have $50 for an example for the gifts, birthdays, and holidays. And then taxes, saving taxes at the end of the year. Miscellaneous payments, we would add any credit cards or any other debt that we would have there. On top of the credit cards and the other expenses. But other than that, this was the form that we used, and it really helped us to be very specific on our budget and know, all the way down to the penny what was coming in and what was going out. Yeah, so along with this, so basically our routine, every time one of us got paid within that day or the next day, we'd sit down. One of us, I normally would just go through and write things down, while the other one of us would have our phones pulled up with our app for our credit union, which we can show you guys as well. Brenton was able to consolidate a spreadsheet, but basically this is kind of how it looks on our phones. And we like to organize it this way. We like to open up different shares for every expense that comes up. And yeah, just like Itzel said there, if you see right here, the top left too. So this checking right here is our main checking. And then Itzel has her own checking there associated with the credit card so she can build credit under her own social. But then essentially from there, where it says savings, everything under savings, these are considered secondary shares. And so they're like a normal savings account. You only have 6 transfers from it, but we're typically only doing 1 transfer from our checking to that savings account every 2 weeks, and then right back to our checking when the bill's about to come out.
Yeah, so this way it helped us not only visualize everything, but separate it and really disperse the money where it had to go. So for example, if you only have your money sitting in your checking, well, how do you keep track of what goes in and out? How do you keep track of how much money you actually have left over when you really think about all your expenses? So this was a way for us to disperse all our money. So again, I go through that budgeting list. Brenton starts to disperse our money from our checking to all these accounts. And then even on the biweekly sheet, I don't know if you guys saw, but there's like walking around money. So usually our walking around money, which meant the money that we literally had no use, I guess not use for, but our
After we've
leftover
already
money.
saved, after we've
Mhm.
already paid for all of our expenses or saved for our monthly bills, that
Yeah.
would be the leftover money.
That would be our walking around money, meaning like if I wanted to get a drink or something, I could go do that with that money. That will stay in the checking. So that way, if that's $100 is in your checking. You don't need anything more than that, because if you do, then sometimes you can overspend. And then overdraft fees will always happen if you overspend. So that's what we use to help us as far as keeping track. I think for us as well, this really helped plan ahead. If you guys look at the biweekly budget, there's expenses like personal hygiene, clothes, shoes, just so many things that we wouldn't have thought about on our own. And it helped us for sure because we are able to plan ahead. For example, we know that we're going to need hygiene supplies. By that I mean deodorants, shampoos, toothpaste, toothbrushes. So what we do is we put a little bit of money in those accounts every 2 weeks, and then by the time we actually need to go buy it, it doesn't have to come out of our grocery money or our walking around money, because we're slowly stacking that up, and it doesn't become, a
Additional
unnecessary.
expense.
Exactly. So that's kind of something that really helped us, just planning ahead. This will be the same with, baby supplies. I know that, hey, we're running low on wipes, so
Diapers.
or diapers. Let's put a little extra money in Jade's account so that we have some extra. Last one is meals. Like I mentioned, I used to be better at it. I just started getting back into this. So I just have a calendar up on our fridge of all the meals I want to make that week. I usually have 2 to 3 options that I could rotate. That way I can do my online shopping. Before in Rexburg, we didn't have that, but we also did the schedule so that we knew we were getting the same supplies every time we went to Walmart. Now I can do online shopping and do pickup, and now I know for sure I'm staying within my budget, because I don't have to wait till I get to the checkout line to know I'm not in my budget. So.
Yeah, and so the majority of these things that are on here is, we obviously got ourselves into a cash crunch at some period in our marriage. And as you can see here with the car maintenance, one time we had the brakes go out on my car, and that's not something that we actually budgeted for. So we ended up having to put that on my credit card for, 2 weeks. And then once I got paid again to, go pay that off, because I had to have brakes to, drive to and from work and, be able to get the things that we needed. And then, another one on here is to, have one for Jade. This is one that in the beginning we're like, shoot, we need diapers or we need wipes. And we didn't think about it. We just thought, oh, we still have enough from the baby shower and family. And then we ran out of diapers or wipes. And so it's always nice to have the opportunity to, when you do find an expense that you're not budgeting for, create an additional share and, put $3 in every 2 weeks, $6 a month. And, that'll allow you to buy detergent or some of the other things that Itzel said.
Yeah, so that's what we do for like house supplies. That's anything like laundry detergent, house supplies as far as like cleaning supplies, and then that's the same one. It got cut off, but we have hygiene in there as well. And really, it really is only a few bucks every time you get paid, because if you think about it, you're not buying that every time you go to the grocery store. But you would hate for it to tap into your grocery budget, and then you go $30 over budget, and now it's like, shoot, we can't even stick to a budget. It's like, no, you can. You just have to plan ahead. So that's kind of what's worked for us in order to plan ahead. And as you start doing this, I think it helps you visualize where every penny is going. And once you start visualizing where every like bit of your money is going, then you're able to know, okay, you know what, I'm paying for Hulu, or I'm paying for this. Maybe I don't need that. Like, I rather have that in, like, walking around money for something else. I rather have that for a date night or whatever, or I rather not have 2 date nights a month and just have one. Whatever it is, you can just plan out what you don't want to do at this point in order to save money or start paying off debt. So.
And I think the coolest thing about this, besides the fact that yes, it might take a little bit more time, as opposed to saying, hey, we made $4,000 this month together, let's just leave it in our checking, like Itzel said, because money's always going out and coming in with automatic payments. The nice thing about this is every time we got paid that night, we'd sit down together and we both knew where our finances were at. It wasn't one person knew where the finances were while the other person was, oblivious, and the other person's racking up debt on credit cards and the other person has no idea. being on the same page when it comes to finances definitely has helped our marriage, to know that, it's a team effort. It's not just Itzel, going through all the information. It's not just me making sure I don't spend money, but it's a team effort that's allowed us to, reach some of our financial goals together.
Yeah. And I think for sure, as far as someone who didn't come from the background of managing my own money or even like saving my money, I think this was really, really hard to adapt to. I won't lie, I hated it at first. I was like, why do we have to transfer all these accounts? But guess what? When I didn't do that, I was always going over. Like the way that things were just being taken out of my account, I was always getting overdraft fees. And Bridget's like, you need to know how much money's in there. So again, this is really, really helpful because I just swipe my card and I expect money to be in there, or at least that was me.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And it's just not that way. And again, now I don't work. Now I get to be at home. So I need to be fully aware of what's going on and how I can help bring, ideas into how to make more money or how to save money. And again, how to be able to say, hey, this is what we need. So that he's not thinking we're fine. And then I'm like, oh no, we actually need to spend like $100 on Jade. And he's like, shoot, you should have told me that last month so I could start planning for it. So just so you guys know, this is really also how we save for vacation. So this is just a great way to budget, a great way to know where your money is going, and really, really gets you thinking what you really need and what you could go without.
And so, just like Itzel said, obviously, by doing these simple things, it allows you to, get your debt paid off a lot faster than you would have, thought you ever could, and then set yourself up for goals, whether that be going on trips, getting into your first home, buying that new family vehicle, paying off a current vehicle, paying off student debt. If both of you are on the same level of, where your finances are going, you'll be able to reach these milestones a lot faster, as opposed to, being on different wavelengths with money.
Yep. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can definitely let us know. We can probably link the page.
Yes, we'll link the spreadsheet,
and then
we'll also link
I don't
Itzel's.
really care. I don't know if you guys really care to see this or have that.
If you do, just let us know.
My mother-in-law, but we can totally, help you guys out. Like I said, it's all about trying to stay organized, all about trying to be on the same page. And I think that slowly but surely you will reach those financial goals as long as you guys are doing it together.